Okay, so now let's start with what are the various options that we have for developing forms in SharePoint. So one thing is the Power Apps, which is now quite popular, but there are a lot more things are there which you should know. But before going into that, let me tell you the other option. So we have SharePoint framework also, which is purely for developers. So that option we have. And then if you are using classic experience, then we have some HTML forms, apps, SharePoint hosted app, provide.hosted app, those things also we can develop it. Now these are the options which are available on this. But now if you see the quite popular one people are talking about is Power Apps, where it is saying that it's a no code tool, or you can say that the very less code that you need to develop this. Quite possible that you might not need to write a lot of code on this, but if your form has a lot of logic, or if you want to even so hide fields based on certain conditions, even those scenarios you need to write a few lines of code, which is sometimes difficult for the site owners without knowledge on that. I will just quickly show you a couple of a screenshot which you'll be able to know exactly what we are talking about. Like look at this. So this is few code that we have used or wrote for developing some of the apps on this. So if I'll just quickly open a app, you can see here this is a app, and you look at this code. This code you can see here, right? So definitely though Power Apps you can say is a no code tool, but yeah, of course, you require a lot of knowledge on this, how we can write the code and stuff. So definitely that is something that if you are a site owner, you might not be an expert, or you can easily you cannot write that. So here, the quiz forms, how this can help is you can develop the forms without much, or without it's a no code tool. So without writing any code, you can develop this. So it includes like few of the things we will see it here, like forms layout. Let's say you want to design it in a tabular form, or a collapsible form. So you can do that using form layout. Same way, there are activities where you can send emails or these kind of things, or change the status that you can do. Same way, there are custom actions you can add in the command bar, conditional formatting, signature pad, and then schedule actions also you can do, where you want some actions to be happen on schedule basis. So that also you can do. There are a lot more apps which Sarah already told that thing, but few of the things, at least these are the things which we are going to see in today's demo. So now this is just I just took a screenshot of this, but now we will jump to the SharePoint site. Now you can see here I have just minimize. So you can see here, I'll just refresh it once. So here you can see this is a help desk system list. And if I'll click on this, you can see here, this is our default form. And this is if we want to customize this form as a site owner, let's see how it will be easily, we can do it. Now on this, if you'll see here in the command bar, there is quiz apps is there. If you click on this, you will be able to see a lot of apps which we can use in this particular SharePoint list. So you can see here. So these are all these apps. I'll just give you a quick overview, like these activities, cascading lookup, conditional formatting, custom action, file controller, form layout. So these are the few all these apps you can see it here. So now what we will do is, first thing is we are going to create three tabs on this, so that our form will looks like a tab form. So if you'll see here, now let's say this form layout, you can click on this and will not write a single line of code. Now on this, you can see here, we will two options are there. Either you can create tabs or collapsible groups you can create, which is like accordion control. So let's say you select tabs and then where it will appear, and then click on plus new tab. So once you click on plus new tab, you can give a name for it. Suppose I will give issue details. Now you can see here, this is the tab, and then you can see the add row. So if you click on this, you can create or add rows into it. Rows into it means what are the columns basically you want on this tab, and that too we can add in rows. So first thing what we'll do here is I want to provide a short message to this. So what is that short message is, for example, if you'll click on this and I'll say text cell, I want to give a small message here. So suppose I'll say fill the details to submit a help desk ticket. Now you can see here I can make it bold and then I'll click on OK. So this is a short message that will appear in the form. And then I'll click on add row, and here we will add some of the columns into it. So first column that I want to show here is, if you'll go to the columns, you can see here I can see all the columns. If you'll click here, you can see all the system columns here. These are all the defined column, user defined columns. So I'll select issue category here, and on this issue category, I want to add some of the columns here in this row. So I'll click on this, and then if you see here, you can just click over here to add the column, so it will appear in the same row. And even if I'll click one more time, you can see here 3 columns are there, and it is purely, as Sarah said also, it is purely mobile friendly, so you don't need to do anything extra for it. So in this case, I want to add or display the hardware type column, and then in this one I want to show the software type column. So if I'll just quickly show you the list, these are all the columns, like what is the issue, description, category, priority, status, assigned to, due date, close comments, why it is urgent, if the status is urgent, then the requester name, all these things you can see it here, right? So these are the columns. Now come back here, and on this we will click on add row, and in this we are going to show some of the more columns into this one. So suppose I will say the title, so I'll select here and then columns and then the title. So you can see this is the title, and then I'll add this, and here I will select another column which is the issue description. So like the issue title and issue description, we are seeing it here. And then I'll add one more column here. In fact, I'll add 2 more columns here. One was we'll see the issue priority, and then this one we will see the why this is urgent. So this is also a column. If the issue priority user will select urgent, then we will tell them like why it is urgent. Let them put the comments on this. And the good thing is you can just click on this and you will be able to preview this form. You can see here now how this form is appearing, right? So you can preview it quickly on that, and if you can just click on apply. And once you apply this, now if I'll go to this form, let me just refresh it once. And on this, if I'll click on new now, you can see here now one tab is there, and in this tab these are all these columns whichever we decided it is there. So now I'll go back again. Now we will, before going to do some customization on this, let me add the other columns here. Now if you see here, I selected plus new tab and I'll select another column. So I will say here I'll give the name. So I will say requester details. And here I will same way I'll add on this row here, and I would select one column here is requester name, and I want to add one more. Here I will select requester contact number. So these 2 columns I want, and then the third one I will add, it is resolve details, and here we will add a few columns on this. So I'll click on this, and the first thing is I'll add here is, let's say, the assign to column. I'll add one more here. I will say the due date. I'll add one more here. I will say issue status, and on that I will add there is a column which is known as close date, and I'll add one more row here. We will select, let's say, close comments, And then I'll show you another column, which is the signature column. We will do that little after showing something. So now I'll click on apply. Now if you look at here, suppose now if I'll refresh it, let me just refresh it. So if I'll click on new, you can see, you'll be able to see all the three things here. You can see here all the three columns, but I don't want this column to be visible on the new form. I want this to be available only on edit or view form. So for that, you can quickly do it. So you can see here add condition, and in that add condition, we can select it. If we'll select here like user action, and in this I want let's say it is new item, sorry, is not equal to new item. So we can do this, so it will be available or it will be visible if it is not equal to new item. I'll say apply. Now let's refresh it, and if you can see here, now look at this, now this is not available, right? So this way, how quickly or how easily we can hide a tab by just adding this much. Now next, what we will do is I'll go to this issue details, tab. On this, what we will do here is, now let's say I want to make this issue category column as a mandatory column. So how we can do this is, so let's say how there is, if you see here, there is a settings icon. On this settings icon, you can see here there is a field constraint is there. If you click on it, you can add new role here, and you can see here if it is not empty, then you say then it is valid, else it will show that issue category is a required field. You can customize this message also. So just click on OK. So now this column becomes a mandatory column. So if you will try to save this, it will show that this is a mandatory column. And at the same time, let me just show you what I want here is, when I'll click on the new item, you can see it here. Now issue category is mandatory. I want, if I'll select hardware, then hardware should display. If I will select software, then only software should display. In others, these two should not be visible. So what we can do here is, you can click over here on this settings icon, and then you can see here cell visibility is there. If you click on cell visibility, you can click on this, and now you can select based on the issue category. So if issue category is equal to hardware, then it will be visible. And same way, you can click over here and then cell visibility, and we can add a condition here. Issue category is equal to software, then only it will be visible. Now you can click on apply, and then if I'll go here, click on new item, and then you can see here by default both these columns are not visible. And if I'll select hardware, then I can see the hardware option. If I'll select the others, you can see it will go. Same way, if I'll select software, only software column will come. Now on this one, if you'll see here, same way you can mark, let's say title column as mandatory column, issue column, description as mandatory column. But I want to show you another things, which is the issue priority column. So if you'll see, the issue priority column has a few values which are like urgent, high, or medium, low, like this. So what we want here is, the only this urgent should come if I will select urgent, else it should not come. So in this case, what we can do here is, quickly we can do that. If we'll select this, and then you can see cell visibility, and then here you put a condition which is saying issue priority column, if current value is equal to urgent, then only it will be visible. So if you will see here, click on apply, and then you can see, if I'll just let me just refresh it once. Now you can see here, if you'll click on this, now this is not available. And if I'll select, let's say hi, even it is not there, if I'll select urgent, you can see here it is coming on this. So this way, like this is the first thing that we did. Second one, if you want, like let's say I want the requester name to be, by default it should take the logged in username. So what we can do for is, if we'll go here, go to the requester tab here, and on this, if we'll expand this, you can see here, you say it and then default value, and here you can say so. Just a second. So so set to, and if you click on this, then you can select to me. So you can see here, once you say me, then you close it. So now this will set to the current logged in user. If I'll just refresh it, so if you click on new and see here, now you can see here, this is appearing here, right? So this is how we can, show some of the values or show some of the customization that we can do. Now, let me show you a quite important thing on this is how we can send emails on, let's say, whenever user submit an item, how we can do that. But before doing that, let me show you one more thing. So if you'll see now here on the new, so these tabs, you can see here the color is not there. Let's say you want to give a background color and stuff. So you can go here, you can click on the settings and then you can see styles here. And from the sample styles, you can select, whatever the, things that you want. So for example, set tab style. So if you see by default, there are some, like you can see here, non-selected tab style, selected tab style, hover tab style, all these things are there. You can simply write here and change it. I'll just save it. Now you can see here how these tabs are coming here. Right, so this way quickly you can, if you want, you can use some CSS color code and then you will be able to change it. Now, if you'll go to the all apps, you see here there is a app called activities. So what is this activities you'll do is you can select what are the things that you can do on this. For example, let's say I want to send an email whenever someone will submit the helpdesk ticket. So for this, what you can do here is if you click on this, and then you select new activity. So new activity selected, and then you can see here email is there, and you give a name for this activity. So I'll say send email to author. Let's say this is the email that, the name of this activity, and then go to the properties. So in the properties, you need to define the recipient, subject, all these things. So I'll just fill the mandatory field. So you can see here, like which one you want. Let's say I want the send to the created by. So you can see here, like this is coming, and then you can provide the subject line. So, so subject line, suppose I'll give uh, your support ticket raised, and probably let's say I want to give a title for it. So I'll go to the list columns here, and then you can see here title. So now the user will see support ticket raised, and then whatever the title they have given here, and then you can also use this body template here. So I'll say, let's say hi, and then here you can see there are a few things are this. So let's say current user, or you can go to the list column and then you say created by, and then you say like thanks for submitting, and then your help desk team. Like if you want to add some of the, let's say you want to give the title, then you can see here, you can simply go here and then list columns and you select title here. If you want to give description, all these things you can give. This is a rich text editor. You can make bold, italic, all these things. If you want to give link, you can also click here and then give the link. So I'll just quickly show you how we can give the link. So any item, let's say you will select here, sorry, you can copy this link select this is the new form link. So if they edit form link, I'll just quickly add one item. So I'll just say hardware and desktop paste. So I'll click on save. So now you can see here. So just click on this and then just copy this link URL. You can see here, copy this link URL. You can go here and just, for this, change the ID like this. This is the token that you can provide. And here I can simply copy and I'll say click here to know more, let's say, and this click here, I can make it to this address. Okay, so now it will be dynamic. So whichever the item for the email, you will only go to that and that item. So now you can see here, I created the activity. So we need to use this. So what you can do here is you can see here custom actions. So in the custom actions, you will see here, like we need to create a action here. So you can see here automatic action. I want this to be automatic on item added. Now let's see these things. If you want to do it, in a SharePoint site, probably you'll use Power Automate, something like that. But here you can see you can use this way. So I'll say send email. And then if you go to activities, here you select, send email to the author, because this is what we want to, this is the activity that we will call here, and then click on apply. So once you click on apply, now we will test once. So I'll go here, I'll just refresh it. And here what I'll do is I'll click on new item. I will say hardware, I will say printer not working, and then whatever high medium, and then I'll say save. So once I click on save, the activity should trigger and you will receive, I should receive an email. I'll show you that. Okay, we'll just wait for some time. So meanwhile, we will go to the other activity that which one we were supposed to show. So next one I will show you here is, now suppose when you are clicking on this new item, or let's say I'll just edit one item. So you will see here, I'll just edit this item. In this edit item, let's say I'll edit this item. Once I'll edit this item, I will be able to see this result details. Now on this one, I want to add some of the buttons where I can close this and or I can assign the tasks to me. So those are the things which I want to do. Now what I want to do here also, if I will assign to me, or if I, let's say first we'll take the close this item. So suppose I want on the button click, I want to close this. And when I close this, that should assign to, the issue status should be, let's say it is closed, and then probably you can have the, close date as the today's date, and then you need to put some close comments as well, right? So those things you want to do. So for that, what we will do in this case is I will go here and I will create one more activity on this. So I'll go to the all apps, I'll go to the activities, and here I will create a new activity. And this one is, let's say update item, because in this case we want to update the item. So I will say close the item. And here the properties, what we are going to do is the current item, and what are the things that we want to update in the current item at the field. And let's say, we will say the close date. Close date should, take at the today's date. So now, for example, here I will take this. You can see here, these are the things which you can use. So I will say today, and I'll click on this. And then what I want more things is I want the issue status to be closed. So if you see here, issue status, now this should be closed. And then finally, I want to add the issue comments or close comments. You can see it here. I want to add this like item closed by, and I want to take the logged in user ID. So like these are the things which I want to do. I'll click on apply. So now if you see here, so whenever someone will click on this, then all these three things will happen. Now to What we'll have to do now is, again, we need to go here to the custom actions. Now, when we will call this is, we'll have to add, see here, instead of automatic action, we want user action. So user action so means it will add in a command bar. So you can see here. Now on this, let's say I will give load item, and then you can show a confirmation message. Suppose I want to show, like, are you sure you want to close this item? And then you can select an icon for it. Let's say this one. So I'll choose this one. Now you can see it. And then it is asking us, after this, what will happen? So I will select here. Let's say I want to go to the view item screen. Let's say after closing, we should see the view item screen. And then the activities, what we want to do here is we want to close this item which we just created. Now click on apply. Now once you'll apply this, what we will do now is I will go here. I will now edit one item. You can see here I click on, sorry, I'll click on this item, and on this I will click on edit. Now you can see here there is a close item. A command bar button is there. Once you click on this, you can see here it is showing, like, are you sure you want to close this item? Click on OK. Now you can see here it is working on it. Meanwhile, let me just open this. You can see here, like, this is the email which we received after adding the item. And you can see here, if I click on this, the item will open. You can see here, this is the display form which will open, whenever you will click on that. So you can see here, it is loading. You can see here, this is the view item, right? So the email, whatever the trigger, it is working fine. You can see it here. Now, yeah, it is taking some time. Now, let me show you one more thing on that. So what we want is, I want, let me just edit this item and then show you here in, like a close item. I want to have an assign to me button. So what will happen is it will assign the ticket to myself. So it will, in the result reset, there is a assign to column. So it should assign that to myself. So now let it just see. You can see here, let it, you can see here, now it is in the display form. We click, let's go to the result details. You can see here the issue status changed to closed. The closed date, it has been added, and the close comment also, it has been added. That means our triggers has been working fine here. So now what we will do in this case is I'll go to, let me close this. I'll go to the quiz apps again. Now we will implement the assign to me functionality. Lot of time you'll see here, like, you have a list or some items are there, you want to, on one click, you want to assign that. So for that, again, the same thing we are going to do here. In this case, I will add a assign to. So I'll click on new activity. The activity here is again the update item, and you look at the number of things that are here available. So you can use everything. You can call a workflow also. Now update item, and in this I will say assign to me, like, this is the activity name. And then the properties, what you want to do here is we want to update the assign to field to the logged in user. In this case, let's say I will put me here. This is the one thing we are going to do. I'll click on apply. So once we have this, then same thing we are going to do here. We'll go to the custom action, and on this we are going to create one more action. In this case also same thing, user action. So I'll give a name for it, assign to me, and confirmation message, are you sure? And then you can select any icon into it, and then after the redirection, what you want, same, let's say I want to go to the view form, you can go for it and then click on apply. So now same thing will happen. So now suppose I will go to the system, I will click on, let's say, this item, printer is not working, and on this you will see here, I'll click on edit. Now you can see here the result details, nothing is assigned here. Click on assign to me, that is sure, click on OK. So once we have it, now you can see here Now, if you will go to this result message, now it's ideally should. Let me just refresh it once again. Ideally, it should do. Okay, sorry. So assign to me, I forgot to assign the activities. So of course it will not do. So assign to me will apply. Sorry for it. So you see here, like you need to all the activity, like what you want to do on that. In this case, you see here, that is the reason is not yet done. So I'll click on edit. Hopefully this has been saved. Yes, I'll just quickly refresh it once again. Now, in this case, what I'll do here is I'll go to I'll click on assign to me here. Now it should assign to me, like my username should be available on that. So you can see here, okay, it will take some time. Now, let's say this is a help desk system. We'll go to the next one. So let's say this is a help desk system where, we want user to add some attachments, but we want to restrict it. And like let's say you want to restrict only PNG file or JPG file they can upload, no other files they can upload, right? So before, okay, now let me just show it. Okay, so I have to go here and there because of the time as well. So now you can see here, hopefully if I'll go to result details, now you can see here assign to is here on this. So it's external user, so it is showing like this. Now I'll go to the all apps. So what we will do here is we will control the files. What are the files that user can control? And you see here, just you go to this app, and on this, you see there is only the option that you will select what are the files you want to select, or you want allow, or you want to block. Either way. So you see allow files, and here I will select the files which one I want to allow it. So let's say I want to allow only the JPG and probably the PNG file. Let's say these are the files which you want to allow. So that is what is, we don't want to allow anything else. You can see here. And then if you want to limit the size, you can select this option, and you can in MB, in megabyte, in MB, you can allow, you can also restrict this. So just take a couple of clicks and select. Now your form is, can restrict the files. So how easily we can do it on this. So now let's say it is doing. So I'll just go to the system. We'll add a new item. You can see here I add a new item. And on this, like how we have selected, all these mandatory fields. So if you click on save, now you can see here it is showing a category field. So those things are there. Now, if I will select attach file, and here if I'll select, let's say, this one. So you can see here this type of files are not allowed. And if I'll select any other file, so for example, I'll select this image file, which is a PNG file. You can see here that has been there. It has been uploaded. So that's how we can restrict it on the file, whatever you want to select. Now I'll show you another very interesting thing is, if you go to the all apps, you see here, there is a signature pad is there. On this one, what it will do is, now for example, I want whenever someone will close the item, I want them to have a signature on it. For example, I'll just edit it. So here, suppose you are closing this item, I want your signature should be there. So let's say I'll go to the result tab. So here, if I want to close this, so if I'll just close it, then I should see a signature where I'll put it. So that's what we can do it. How quickly, easily we can do it. Let's see it. So if you'll see here now, there is a signature pad is there. So if you'll click on this, you can see I want to give a name for it. I'll say sign, or I will say close. You can see here close signature, something like that. And once you do this, just click outside. You can see here. Now you can define who can sign it. And also, like this is the signed column. This is a quite important column. Like, if any changes will happen to this column, then the signature, you have to sign it again. So that is very important. Let's say you have already fixed, closed this item, and then you are changing the status, then, you have to sign it again. So in this case, I can actually select that column, let's say issue status. So I'll select this column. So any changes will happen on this. I will just unselect the title column here. So because the title column is also selected, so you can select multiple columns on this. And here you can select what are the columns or who are the users can sign it. So I can select my name. Let's say I can only sign out. You can even put a group here. So any person belong to that group, they can also do it. So I'll click on apply. Once you click on apply, now you can see it here. I'll go to all apps here, and then I will go to the form layout. And in the form layout, it will go to the result tab. So you can see it here. Add one row, and here I will select the column which is close sign. This one you can see it here, right? So I'll click on apply. And now let's go to, you can see here. Okay. So now I'll go here. I'll go to this. I'll edit this item. And then you can see here resolve details. Now you can see, you can make it mandatory or only you can make it visible. Like you can go to the settings, how I showed you. So you can go to the, the visibility, and then you can hide it. Only it is visible when the status will be closed. So you can do that thing also. And once you do this, so you can see here, I can sign it here. Once I sign it, you can see here sign is saved. So if I'll click on save, so now this one is signed is saved. So next time if I will edit this, and if I'll just show it again. So if I'll just edit it and change the status, so from, let's say, issue status from closed to something else. So suppose I will change here in progress. Now you can see here invalid signature. So you have to clear it and do it again. So that's how you can do it on this. So before closing this, I'll just show you one more app on this. I'll go to the all apps. So you can see it here, conditional formatting. So if you click on this, you can do some conditional formatting on this. So you can, let's say, I want if the issue priority is something I want to highlight it. So let's say I'll click on this. I will say if the when issue priority is urgent, then probably it will, the background color will be this and this way. So now if I'll click on apply, and then if you'll see here, now you can see here, if I will just edit one item, let me just quickly edit one item. I will make the status as urgent. Now you can see here, let me just show on which column we did, sorry, issue priority. So I will just change it, issue priority column. So you can see here, it is we can make the entire row also. You can see here. So if you can see here, I have set it. So you can see here, I can make the entire. So if I will go to the rule, I will say all apply to all column. So here I can do it. So that is what we did for one column. So if we do it here, now let's say I will say issue priority is urgent. So now the entire all columns will do this. So I'll just refresh it again. I'll apply it. I'll just go here. Hopefully, if I'll just refresh it, the entire row should be. You can see here the entire row, becomes yellow color. This way you can distinguish the item. So how quickly you can do this thing, you can see it here, right? So Yeah, just to summarize, without writing a single line of code, you can see here, we created a tab form, we have some validations, we have add some, actions, everything we did on this. Also, we added, in the edit form, we added some more rules onto this, and we also added command actions, and on a single button click, we can change the status, we can send emails, all these things we saw it here. Right, so this is how we can develop a help desk system by using these quiz apps, and this is super easy to use it. So now if you have some questions, probably we can take some questions on that. Sarah, you can take some questions if you want.